Well, it looks like we're back for a full new season of Doctor Who already, and it feels like it's not even been that long since the last season aired, which is strange because we only had 8 episodes in the last season. Normally we would have 14, but it feels like time's just flown by, and now we've got the new season of Doctor Who, which I must say from the get-go is looking a lot more promising than Space Babies started us off. I kind of stayed out of the Doctor Who news circle. I wanted to kind of avoid spoilers for this season because I feel like all the spoilers that I got from last season kind of maybe ruined the run a little bit. So when I was getting into episodes, it was more I knew what to expect from the episode rather than actually being surprised. So what I did this year was just stayed away from everything. Like, I watched some stuff, but I stayed away from everything that I could that was spoilery, so that I could go into this season with fresh eyes and a fresh mind and take the surprises as they came, so that when I was reviewing episodes and I was actually watching it, I could enjoy the show rather than knowing what to expect before I'd watched it. First off, I just want to start off by saying that I absolutely love this BBC imagery. The fact that Belinda and the Doctor are walking over a burnt planet, which I'm going to assume is Earth, but we'll get into that a little bit later. It's just fantastic. Like, the imagery itself just looks good, never mind the budget for the show. But anyway, with this episode, we start off with Belinda's backstory. So 17 years in the past, she's given a certificate for a planet named Miss Belinda Chandra, and this kicked off the whole story for Belinda in the future. She is then contacted by aliens or robots, depending on what way you look at it. They technically are both. She's then took from her home all the way to Belinda Chandra 1, which I must say is awful close to Earth. Like, the planet is so close, it didn't feel like they were travelling for very long. And she is basically told when she gets there, you're a queen, you're getting married to this AI generator, and there's not very much you can do about it. So in the opening scenes, we have a younger Belinda who receives this scroll or certificate for the stars, and all I could think about in that scene with looking at the younger Belinda was Linda with a Y. And I feel like the way that they've done Belinda's hair is a direct nod to Linda with a Y. I don't know why, but it does feel like, just look at these two images, like the hair just looks like Linda with a Y. But then again, 17 years ago, that kind of probably would have been in style. But then you have to think that Linda with a Y was like a million years in the future. This is just off memory. I've not watched that episode in a while. So I feel like maybe there's been a little bit of a nod there to Linda with a Y with the hairstyle. I could be completely overreading it, just like normal Doctor Who fans would, but it wouldn't surprise me if it is just a nod to Linda with a Y. The overall start of the episode starts off very, very quick paced. I love how when we get into the hospital, it's kind of like showing you hours passing in quick snippets, and the Doctor continuously running about the hospital trying to find Belinda until she eventually ends her shift, where the Doctor does his Sonic-y thing. He plays a trick on the receptionist because she won't give him the information they want, so he does his Sonic-y thing on the computer and ends up blowing up the electrics and putting the full hospital into darkness. And then there's just this image of the lights going out in the hospital, and you can just hear the Doctor going, sorry, I'm sorry. I feel like this Doctor is a lot more clumsy. I wouldn't say it as clumsy as Matt Smith, but Matt Smith's Doctor was like clever and clumsy, so it worked. But I feel like this Doctor just is a lot more like accidental clumsy. I don't know if that's deliberate or if it's just to add in those funny gags that the episode kind of needs. Which in this episode, I must say, there is lots. Like, there's lots of funny gags in this one. There's also the uncertainty with the gift when Belinda is given the star certificate. She just seems rather confused, like, why would someone buy me this? And then the whole thing with them calling her Miss kind of puts me in mind of Donna when she is called Mom. Those are just like funny little gags that you expect to find in Doctor Who. So with this episode, I immediately got excited as soon as the 15th Doctor landed in Tardis in the hospital. There was like an immediate excitement for, right, let's go. It felt fast paced, it felt normal, like it felt like Doctor Who. I feel like Space Babies got off to like a really, really slow start, and then the episode just kind of dragged on. There was no immediate excitement in that episode. There was nothing to tell you this episode's like the first episode in a series, or like be excited for the rest of the episode. It was silly. I expect silly with Doctor Who. I always expect silly with Doctor Who. But when silly's done the way this episode was done, it works. But when it's just silly for the sake of being silly, it just gets you off to a bad start, especially with a whole new revamp. So I'm feeling that already my hopes are higher for season 2, and I've only watched this one episode. I did particularly love the scene where Belinda looks out the window and she's just got this big space rocket just sitting in her back garden. I feel like that's something you would only see in this show. I can't think of anything else where I've seen a space rocket just sitting in someone's back garden, like just casually landing in the back garden, chilling out as if no one can see it, you know. Like, as far as I still believe in the Doctor Who universe, humans don't know aliens exist, and it seems to be a running gag at this point, because there's literally no way, with everything that's happened on Earth throughout the show's history, there is no way that the humans within that universe can still not know that the aliens exist. Like, it's just impossible. So if the planet is going to be blown up at the end of this series, then that'll be a whole restart, and it means that everyone will forget what happened. That's what happens every couple of years. Stephen Moffat already said this is what they do to reset things. But I absolutely loved that scene. It was brilliant. The only thing that kind of bothered me was Belinda's acting in that particular scene. Don't get me wrong, Verada Sethu done amazing throughout this full episode. I fell in love with her character almost immediately. But I feel like there was no reaction to a space rocket just casually landing in her back garden, and then space robots just casually kicking down her door. I mean, she seems like a very, very grounded person, and possibly is just like, oh, this is a thing, right, okay, let's just deal with this situation. With her being a nurse, I suppose she would have that groundness to be able to hold herself together within a very, very panicky or obscure situation. But I feel like this is a little bit out there. Like, she should have at least had some panic when she looked out the window and saw a rocket sitting in her back garden, like, at the very least.
What if I don't?
They kill the poor cat. I mean, what did the cat do? Like, RTD, do you not like cats or something? Like, what's wrong with the cat? I mean, it just obliterates the cat, literally. And then decides to put a cat emoji on its face, like, just so that it emphasizes the fact that it killed the cat. Like, oh, the robots are fantastic in this. Like, I was kind of nervous for them because a lot of the time robots just become silly, and these ones actually hit the mark. Like, they're scary, and the fact that they're quite lethal, but they're also funny at the same time. And I feel like that's balanced really, really well. And that's something that Doctor Who has been good at in the past. But there has been times where the robots just, like, been ridiculous. And you've just been like, right, there's no point. Like the Candyman, the Licorice All Sorts robot. That's just... it's just ridiculous. But yeah, the voices of the robots kind of put me in mind of a mixture between the Judoon and the Cybermen. So it felt familiar in that respect. Even though these were new robots and we've never seen them before, it did feel really, really familiar, and it felt good. Like, it didn't feel like I was not watching Doctor Who for a change. It felt very Doctor Who. Mrs. Flood is definitely a psychopath. There's something there that just doesn't sit right with me, and I've seen a lot of people say that Mrs. Flood is actually not going to be a villain, and she's going to be a kind lady that's helped out. Maybe she's the White Guardian, the opposite side to the Dark Guardian. I can see that being a possibility. With her dressed in the full white, I could see that being a possibility. Who's to say she is the White Guardian? And she readdressed us again after the Doctor came running out to try and get Belinda and missed the rocket by like seconds. She readdressed us and told us that we never seen her. She wasn't there.
Belinda! You won't see me.
So, yeah, if she's hiding from the Doctor, obviously it's going to be a little bit concerning for the Doctor if he sees Mrs. Flood being Belinda's neighbour, just like she was Ruby's. But if she was nice, then that could be explained, and she would be able to explain to the Doctor why she's there. Like, she could be like, oh, I'm here, I'm looking after your companions, your future companions, just making sure they're okay, getting to where they need to go to, instead of running away and hiding from the Doctor. That's the key there to tell you that Mrs. Flood isn't going to be a nice character. Like, it tells you straight away. If she's hiding from the Doctor, there's a reason she's hiding. And she knows that if the Doctor sees her again, he's going to be like, right, okay, what is going on with you? The way that she just addresses Belinda as well, like, Have fun, Belinda. Bye bye. Like,
Oh, take care, Belinda. Bye-bye.
you literally wouldn't do that. You would be panicking. As a normal human being, and your neighbour is being took by robots in a spaceship, you would be panicking. You wouldn't be waving them off and telling them to basically have a good life. Like, cheerio, it's felt good. So one of the notes I did take was what was with the time jumps, but that was kind of explained within the episode. Basically, there was a time rift between Earth and Belinda 1. I don't know, I kind of thought maybe this is something similar to the crack in time from Stephen Moffat's era, but I don't know if this is actually going to be continued throughout the series. If it is, then it's definitely something. There's something to do with time here going on in the overall arc for the show. But I feel like this specifically could just be for this episode. But the effects for it were like really, really cool. It felt so trippy. I quite liked that addition to it. The fact that they had that time crack. I mean, without that time crack, the full episode wouldn't have worked anyway, because there would be no explanation or no way to defeat the main villain. So the robots, the red robots are brilliant. I would actually like to see them again, but I think that these are a one and done kind of character. They normally wouldn't show back up because their purpose has been served. There would be no way to bring them back because they belong to Belinda Chandra 1, so they would need to turn evil again in order to like invade Earth, or for them to have another story, and that's been resolved at the end of this episode. So I don't think we'll be seeing these robots again, unless the Doctor calls on them for help, which could possibly happen in the finale. The scene where she was took into the Citadel and she was basically told, "You're getting married," I found that quite funny when she replied back with, "What do you mean a wedding? Who am I marrying? A spark plug?"
And what happens now?
The planet Miss Belinda Chandra 1 will celebrate your royal wedding.
What do you mean wedding? Who am I marrying? A spark plug?
Like, it's just little things like that throughout this episode that's just been nicely dusted in there by RTD, and I feel like, I don't know if it's because he's had a lot more time with these scripts, because it's very, very obvious that they've went back over and they've rewritten over these scripts in order to seamlessly blend Monday Flynn into the story, because that wasn't originally the plan. And it was said that it wasn't originally the plan, because RTD did say at one point that Monday Flynn was just a coincidence and she was not going to be addressed in the new season. But it has, like, it's clear that they've went in and they've weaved her through, and there's a reason for Monday Flynn now, which is great, because that's what Doctor Who's all about. That's what happens with every other character that has double appearances. We were told it was going to be a simple explanation, like, she's Monday Flynn, she's also Belinda Chandra, blah blah, that's it, done, don't ask again. But it seems like Belinda's going to have a lot more interest and stuff about her than what we were told anyway, and Monday Flynn's definitely going to be something to do with that, or she's going to be scattered through time, similar to the way Clara was. Something along those lines. There's going to be a reason, like an actual good reason, for the Doctor bumping into Belinda twice. And then he was also told about her. He said in this episode that he was told about Belinda Chandra as well. Yeah, it's one of those things where they keep colliding into one another, like 10th Doctor and Donna kept colliding into one another. So I don't know if RTD is going down that Destiny route again or something different. I don't know if it's going to be like a mixture between ᴅɪᴜᴜᴜ, because that was mentioned. I was so happy that ᴅɪ괜ᴜᴜ was mentioned in this episode, because it brings back those nostalgic moments for fans that have watched the show for so many years. Overall, this was just a brilliant episode. I loved the Doctor and the nurse. That's what I feel like this episode should have been titled, because we had Smith and Jones, which was the first episode of Martha's series, and we also had Partners in Crime. So we also had Partners in Crime. I feel like the episode names for season 1 and so far for season 2, well, I've seen all the episode names for season 2, they're all very on the nose, whereas they used to be quite vague. And I feel like the Doctor and the nurse would have been a great episode title for this first episode. It wouldn't have gave too much away. I just feel like the nurse and the Doctor and the nurse would have been a better title. Something else they threw in here, and I don't know if RTD's just been walking around his house putting on gloves and using blankets. What else he's been writing these seasons, but we had x-ray blankets. Like, what a fantastic idea. Like, that is just brilliant. X-ray blankets. So I don't know if we're going to see some more sci-fi items scattered through this series. I hope we do, because I love when they come up with crazy ideas for specific items. such as the polish bot. I absolutely loved the polish bot. It was only there just specifically to give Belinda the scroll, the certificate at the end. But the polish bot was brilliant. I mean, if you've ever had a rhombot, or you know what a rhombot is, that's clearly where the inspiration for that came from. And it's brilliant. Started polishing the floor beneath Belinda's feet. Like, it was just fantastic. It was just another one of those quirky, funny little things that you can throw in Doctor Who. I did think that the AI generator, well, it was originally the AI generator. It turned into be the AL generator, but I thought it was a little bit. It looked a little bit like a messed up Darth Vader. Or a stationary Darth Vader if Darth Vader didn't walk around. So I feel like there was a little bit of inspiration there, drawn from Darth Vader's mask in order to design this generator. But then we get to the end of the episode and the Doctor tries so hard. Like, I love the effects in the TARDIS every time he pulls that lever, and it just pulses and it pulses and it pulses, and they don't get anywhere because they keep bouncing off the 24th of May. And then he opens up the doors and Earth's gone. So we've had something similar like this before with the Daleks, but I feel like it's a god that's definitely at play here. I don't think it's going to be the Daleks. I won't be surprised if throughout this season we do get some kind of appearance from the Daleks or the Cybermen, or some other villain that we do actually enjoy seeing, maybe the Weeping Angels. People have speculated that the Autons are going to show up somewhere in a flashback clip, which would be quite cool. But after the Doctor closes the doors and the TARDIS fades away, we just get this image of London and New York and Paris and so many other places. It's literally iconic landmarks of these places to show you that the full planet Earth has been obliterated. And that's what's happened. It's been obliterated because there's no other way or other explanation for these things to be floating through space. So what's happened there? I don't have a clue. We're going to need to watch to find out. But it basically tells us that the Earth is in danger, or was in danger, and the Doctor missed it. And it's now been obliterated. So something's going to blow up the Earth, and the Doctor's not going to be able to stop it. Unless, of course, ᴄᴏ괰ᴜᴇᴏ. Anyway, I really enjoyed this episode. It was a great start to season 2. I'm hoping that it keeps up, or obviously goes above and beyond what it's already gave us so far. As it's been mentioned, Doctor Who's kind of relying on season 2 to be good and have a good audience retention rate for Disney Plus to renew the deal. So hopefully it does drag in viewers. I'm looking forward to seeing what the viewing figures are going to be like. I didn't know that the episode was going to be on BBC iPlayer at 12 o'clock at night again for the UK. But that's all from me. That's all I have to say. How did you find the episode? Did you like it? Were you surprised? Did you feel like it was a big step up from season 1? Let me know in the comments below.